Now it's left and right. I think I'll start with Marcus itself. Marcus, you can introduce yourself to the audience. What do you do? And what do you think the major challenges in terms of EV electronics and software?
Hello, is this on? Yeah. Okay. Good evening, everybody. It's already late, so just a quick word. My name is Marcus Pfeffra. I'm a consultant. We basically do a lot of help of companies to set up business here in India, as well as helping companies in India to internationalize themselves. And one aspect is the mobility aspect, the greater mobility aspect, where we work as a sector. When it comes to mobility as such, or EV as such, I would like to start with my favorite LinkedIn post this year, where somebody put a picture from the Thanksgiving traffic in Los Angeles, where both 8 or 10 lane highways were chock-a-blocked, and the underlining comment was, this is how last year's Thanksgiving traffic looked with ICE engines. And then they put the same picture again, and this is how it would look if we use electric vehicles. So a big problem in mobility is not only that we have to electrify everything, we should also think on how smart mobility can look and how we can reduce cars on the road or prevent from even more and more cars coming on the road. So that's a big challenge, I think, and that has nothing to do only with electric mobility, but electric mobility can play a significant role, especially when it comes to the autonomous cars or with autonomous shuttle services, so that we really reduce cars on the road. Because if you just electrify everything, and if you look also at the major electric cars, what the OEMs produce, they look the same like ICE engine cars. They're the same size, they're the same performance metrics, but that's not really innovation. So if we take this kind of disruptive time now and really create something new, that is something which interests me here. And with that, I would like to hand over to you again and to the other panelists.
Thank you, Marcus. Next, I would like Mr. R.G. Srinivas.
Yeah, thank you.
Introduce yourself and what do you do at TBIL? And what are the things which you think, in terms of EV electronics software, which is a challenge which you are thinking right now?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting us to this forum. This is the last session, so I guess everybody is tired after a long day. I'll try to keep it as light as possible. My name is R.G. Srinivas. I work with TBIL Solutions, and we are a data company. So a lot of what I'm going to speak about is data related in the auto EV world. I think Sujit Kumar, who was here until now, was talking a lot about what's happening on the government side, right? And one thing we are very interested in doing is seeing if we can standardize some of the data that's coming from all the EV charging points all over. So we're trying to work on a digital public good that can work for all EV charging stations in India. So that is one of the things that I think needs to be standardized. In addition to that, there are several challenges when you look at all these charging points and other hardware and software being created. They're all very disparate. Some of them follow AUTOSAR and other standards. But one of the biggest challenges I see is they are not all compatible. So when you look at compatibility of these software and hardware systems, there's a lot to be done to standardize them. So I would say in terms of hardware and software, that would be the main thing that should be focusing on.
The standardization between hardware and software.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
My name is Kapil Sirohi. I work for ETAS Automotive as sales director. So coming to the moot point here regarding the software challenges, what we have. We talked about the software-defined vehicle, right? So software-defined vehicle means a decoupling of the hardware layer to the software layer. And when we talk about the SDV realization, which means if the SDV comes into play, the content of software will increase. As we are talking about electronics content in a vehicle, it is increasing. We talked about 30% of that. The software content itself, not the electronics part, but the software content itself will become around 30-35% of the vehicle cost by 2030. This is the study. The study says even higher, but I think this is more predictable or more practical numbers. So which means the ownership of the vehicle or the cost of the vehicle for the OEM will also go up, right, for the software alone. And today, the OEMs does not own the software. So where is this going to be? So that means the overall ownership cost will become higher. Either unless the OEMs, try and do the software development by themselves. And this is a shift which I see is happening. But the challenge here is that we are not prepared for that. So this is one. Second point is regarding the connectivity and the updatability, OTA and all those things. But what about the security? So I would also like to answer the gentleman who asked about the forum or any consortium regarding cybersecurity. So it is there already. The government is already acting on it. There is a panel which is going to roll out the cybersecurity guidelines, which will be in 2026. And this will be called as AIS 189 and 190. It is in line with the concept of which is already available or the guidelines available under UNR 155 and 156 in Europe. So cybersecurity is going to be another major challenge. And as a country or as an automotive fraternity, we are not prepared for that today. Though we are going in the right direction, I think we need to, face this challenge and face in terms of not only just implementing the processes, but also skill set of the people who are going to participate in this cyber security, things which has to be addressed. For example, the vehicle, when it is hacked on the field, then what will be the action by the OEM? How will you address that? All those things. So CSMS, SUMS, these are the processes which are defined, and we need to prepare ourselves to follow these. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Kapil. Mr. Praveen. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this panel. My name is Praveen Gali. I am a founder of a company called Voltex. It's probably about 3-4 kilometers from this place. So, you're free to visit to that facility. Now, I worked way back 25 years ago, I think more than 25 years ago, in GM R&D on an electric vehicle. And that was the most ugliest electric vehicle we developed that time. But it didn't really work out very well. So, and then there came a movement where there's a lot of EV buzz. Now in India, when we are here and talking about EV, we saw a lot of presentations, and even the previous presentation about the government trying to help out, get EV on board in the country. I'm not an electronics background. I don't have electronics background, or I'm not anyway connected. But I face the full brunt of the challenges as a manufacturer. So we manufacture BLDC motors. In India, we are probably one or two who do that kind of a motor, that capacity for electric cycles. We manufacture electric cycles as well. Now, my competitors, almost all of them, they import all of that stuff from China or elsewhere, mostly from China. Now, when you try to jump into this kind of thing and say, no, let me do it, at least the critical components manufacturing here, it's easy to say than to actually do it. And I'm facing even the smallest of the smallest components, when I go to the market, I cannot find in Indian market. Even if I find, they're all imported from China. So if there is a change or a custom design for India, I cannot. So again, I have to depend on that. And if I go about developing those here, it's a lot of investment. So we can show in the slides that India is going ahead with EV 3% and all, but the fundamental building blocks are lacking. And if anybody dares to it, they better be in the long run. Otherwise, it's a pretty hard journey. Otherwise, you'll give up. And the government should step up and support that, because we have a very short runway compared to China or other countries, which spend many years to come to that state where they are. So again, my background has been in power, turbines, development and all that, but it's a midlife crisis. I left my very good job in GE and came and started a business, but doing business in India with your own developing technology,
is fun to on one degree, but it's a lot more challenging.
You have to repeat all that since Sujit Kumar just came back.
Okay. I think there's a recording, maybe.
He has
or
a very...
I'll have a one-on-one with him.
No, no. Since he is from Government of India, we should not put everything on this. I think I will... in fact, I echo with you, Praveerji. Actually, one question I just want to ask you. So you are saying you are doing manufacturing, and you are saying that you want to not to jump like other people who are importing from the China. So my question to you is this your design, is your own design? Again, the design is imported.
No, 100% is our own design.
Okay.
And we did not get it right first time. First 6 months gone in major failures.
Okay.
Next 6 months, mini failures. Now we are at a much better position. Yeah, it's our own design.
Okay.
But the supply chain, let's say if I want the magnets for the motor,
Ah.
that material is again come China, right? So even they have to get it in Punjab, they cut to the shape I request and send it to me. So I'm dependent on that. So that's where the cost starts to go up. If I'm sitting in China, it's much easier.
Perhaps
But
some
less-
vendors are there in exhibition itself.
They are all there, but the neodymium, that rare earth metal is not, material is not available in India. So it still has to come from
So
there.
you are going with the rare earth. I think Chera technology.
For us,
has-
we have to go with that rare earth because you get a lot of power packed in such a small motor because cycle is only this much. You can't make it too big, too heavy and all that.
Okay. So probably this is a, I think Chera representative is not around. I think this could be a task you can give it to them, and I think they can come out with a product for yourself.
At the right cost.
Well, that's a catch. So I think Maheshi, so you have given your presentation. Anything you want to add? Yeah. So Atulji, aapka.
Hello, I'm Atul here. So I will try to put forward three things related to him also. So supply chain is a big issue. It's not something which you can put inside the carpet. So that part, let it be there. So for my side, from my company called Moderator, I'm working on 3 different areas. So one of the strength for Tesla was, apart from a very good vehicle, there was a digital cockpit in Tesla. And that was one of the strength and what others are still not able to catch up, something as good as Tesla. So what we have done in Moderator, we have developed a digital cockpit based on Android and Linux, starting from two-wheeler to up to the truck. All digital cockpits we are working, and you can take in my stall also here, C20, you can look into it. So that is one thing what we are doing from India side, making all digital cockpits based on Android and Linux, and depending on something like as low as 5,000 rupees up to 20,000 rupees, because that's what the prime time and all. So that is one thing from this particular discussion. Second thing, for all electric vehicles all over the world, the problem was in the electric vehicles was range anxiety. Range anxiety, people became anxiety immediately without any real reason, because initially it was thought that it was all home charging and it was only AC charging, and when it is AC charging, home charging, the moment you go into the market, somewhere battery is over and you'll get stuck. And that fear which started 6 years back, that fear is still there. And from my point of view, from the government point of view, India also thought they have made lot of AC chargers in India, including Bharat chargers, which in my opinion is a wrong policy. Bharat 001 was a wrong policy, it's a failed policy. If they don't know, they should know it. So what India should have done even now, because it's not that everything is gone. Since India has already failed for establishing DC fast charger everywhere, every Indian oil should have been DC fast charger. Since India has failed, it's to do now. Next 3 years, every your Indian oil vehicle, all public sector vehicles, you should phase out all your diesel petrol dispensers and become electric. So this is one thing for anxiety. This is one very big mistake, and that should be actually corrected. The third thing, which is the last thing, one of the strength of power electronics is in all the EVs. EVs has become electrical and electronics. It is not mechanical engineering, okay? And so whenever it's a battery, as I discussed today, battery makes it AC. Okay, so you need an inverter. And again, if you see on the charger side, from the grid, it becomes AC, becomes DC. So India should have at least 10,000 power electronics engineers, immediately needed. Maybe even 1 lakh engineers, power electronics engineers with software and power electronics knowledge. And we can become the power world, global power for charging. So again, India has failed. Second failure of India. That we don't have power electronics engineers. So there are two failures from electric vehicles. Government has failed to create power electronics powerhouse, and the government of India has failed to create enough fast chargers. That's all from us.
Can I jump in?
Yeah,
I second that on the power electronics talent pipeline. It's extremely low to that. But again, I wouldn't blame the government and all that. But somebody who's advising the government needs to understand these elements to be there in order to the outcome to be very successful. So, just effort has to be put not on, that this many EV buses are there, this many. No, effort should be put on what needs to be done at the ground level in order to facilitate that kind of an outcome.
Yeah, so want to add, see, as I told you, future of EV, okay, my vision, even government's vision is make trucks by 2030. If anybody knows, I know everything about how to make electric trucks. But who is interested? Who is making? Which company is making electric trucks? What are the problems? So anybody knows, let them meet to us. We'll tell you what is the problem. The problem is nobody is asking that this is the problem. So that's all. It's not, we are not, see, blaming government is not, at least we have to tell government that this is what has to be corrected. See, this is not complaint, it's a correction. Correction is needed because this is a technical domain. Okay, so any bureaucrat or say politicians cannot understand this domain. So you have to have enough experts to tell what is required for the country.
Thank you. Regarding coming to the India side or government side, there are so many things. Even I have my own personal experience when I went to one of the India's great automobile company who were into electrical vehicle designs. We actually went there to tell them that we have a AC charger solution. Would you like to have it? Then they came out and they shown a solution which they have done 2 years back with the government guidelines. After 2 years, after struggling that manufacturing and things like that, it is supposed to be done at 3,500 rupees. So they made it to 3,400 rupees. The government policy has changed. No. People cannot afford. You have to make it 2,000 rupees. The entire 2 years of their R&D effort is gone. So this is something happens. Now, for me, it's very interesting. Right side is my hardware. It's automatically bifurcated. Hardware side and left side is completely the software side. So interesting. I just want to, draw a line of fire between them. So which one you think, you are saying power electronics people are not there. And even I heard that some people saying that people knowing software, I think they are not even finding out the people. So which one you think whoever want to take it?
Generally,
So
both.
power electronics people or the software people? I just want to have a...
Generally, there is a drain, talent pipeline keeps going to overseas and all that. But a lot more has happened, the basic electronics, because those who are studying that also have switched to software for bigger money. So that's also created a major challenge. But at least in India, we have a lot of brains, a lot of population. So I am thinking this is a harder problem than that problem.
No, that's what I'm telling you. So which one you think?
I think it's definitely power electronics.
No, power electronics people are also software. So they're all embedded software people. They are not hardware people.
No, I'm just getting into the complete application software or the telematics side. I'm just taking you,
So,
enough you can take it and...
So partially I agree that probably hardware problem would be a bigger problem. Because India as a country, we have rich software engineers, that's true.
Yeah.
The only challenge what I was highlighting was the OEM's capability and the skill set right now, which needs to be updated. And that can be possible. So we have the expertise available within India who can train the engineers for the software development processes. So I agree that yes, hardware probably is the most difficult challenge.
Yeah, I would agree too. I think as Atul mentioned, right, I don't think there should be any blame game on this. We are a little late to enter into this. So when you look at China or other countries which have been in this, right, they've been in this a few years ahead of us. And it's just a question of learning from them on how do we skill people in hardware, skill people in software. And I agree with him. Software is something that's ubiquitous in India. So, and learning one software as compared to another in automotive is quite easy. So I think hardware is definitely a harder challenge.
So are you yielding to hardware?
Yes.
Okay. Marcus, how is your experience from the Germany point of view or international point of view? Software or hardware, which one you think it's a major
I
concern?
think that there are two facets to it. What my colleague said here is, first of all, it's the paradigm shift within the OEMs, that they have to become a software company, and that's more a management task than a talent task. And when it comes to hardware, I think we have much more challenges ahead than from the software point of view, because I think there are three major challenges globally for EVs and also for the adoption rate for the consumer. That is still the charging, the battery cost, and the cost of the vehicle. And when I say charging, it's also the range fluctuation. So there are three issues which are there, and that's also what's perceived there. And the other thing is, what I feel whenever I drive an electric vehicle, my first reaction is always, when can I have it? Because the driving performance of an electric vehicle, no ICE engine can beat that. And that's why I think the OEM should sell the cars in a different way. They should make it much more aspirational than what they do right now. They just say, oh, this is green technology. There's a 10-15% of the population who will be receptive to that. But if you say this is the ultimate driving experience what you get, and this is what you should aspire for in a car, you would be much more successful on the long run than if you just and also you make it. I mean, that's the big advantage or the big contribution for me from Tesla, is that they made the electric car sexy. And that's what many other OEMs still have to do.
Thank you, Marcus. So I think.
Can I just add to what Marcus was saying?
Yeah, please.
I think it's true, OEMs, they have this dilemma, right? You have a physical world and you have a digital world. And many of them have success in physical world for a long time, like Mercedes, all the legacy, age-old companies. Switching to software, it's like a different kind of skill. Tesla has built in together, so it became easier for them. So that is the one, you adapt or die, right? So I think, but there is this clash from physical to ultimately software will dominate, there's no doubt. But that transition is the hardest part for anybody who's doing physical.
But to add to that, the software part has to come anyway. It has nothing to do with EV. Even if you stick to ICE engines, they will be also connected. All these features what we've seen here today, many of them have nothing to do with EVs. Even if you want a connected autonomous car, you can run it also on an ICE engine. Question if you want to, but the challenge for the software is the same. So.
So I think I got fairly the point. So the hardware is now actually the crisis. Just on the other point of view, Mr. Mahesh, I understand you are trying to develop some neuromorphic ICs. So I think which will be running through AI, hardware running software. So how do you think your kind of products will actually solve these two two problems?
Good evening. I hope you can hear me. I believe Yada Praja Taja Raja. It is not hardware or a software people buy. People buy a solution. So if I'm a software person, I blame my hardware and vice versa. we will have to work together to make that happen. It may be a bigger statement, but easier said than done, I know that. For example, I mentioned about creativity, mentioned about curriculum and how we how corporate. They're all part of coming to. How many of us will allow our children to study power electronics and not join a Java company? I don't know. So we have to change. It's a change all of us have to go through. It won't happen immediately, sir. So we, from our side, have a good fortune of being on the both sides. We are part of ACCS, where our idea is to improve the learning levels of Indian education system, research and students, and smaller colleges, bringing them to the next level. So we conduct various events. We are like a bridge between industry and academia, trying to bring them to the next level. That's our way of trying to contribute to making students do a professional project. A lot of teachers can't do what they can do in a remote area. We try to work and do. That's one part of increasing from the curriculum perspective. From our side, as Mr. Siva Prasad asked, we have good fortune of being the co-founder of a company called Inatera, where we are on the entirely other spectrum. We are doing a chip neuromorphic processor, one of the things I mentioned there, a bit advanced, where we implement neural networks, neural network-based software, and that is the chip which will be the first chip after a sensor. Any sensor data, that is the data which will be processed further by what we call deep edge data processing. So, for example, we talked about LiDAR, radar, the vehicle communications, on mapping the vehicles, all those things we do that. So it's a chip we do with our embedded analog processor, like brace analog microprocessor. We do that's the other end part of it. So that, according to the Gartner, is a market which is about 2026-27 type of time frame. We have been working on it for the last 5 years. So that has a lot of potential. For that, in India, we are trying to make neural networks and neuromorphic processing as a part of the courses. We are working with various colleges, not just the so-called I colleges, but any ordinary college also, trying to see what we can do. From both sides, we are trying to work on that, sir.
Thank you. So, Lavanya, we have some more time. Couple of minutes can I take? Thank you.
One
I
last,
hope we can take another couple of minutes. Yeah. Yeah, please. Please go ahead.
So one thing I wanted to tell you for all electric vehicles. So one goal for electric vehicles is for decarbonization. That is the goal for all of us. So what is required, that the energy source for charging your vehicle must be, say, something like a solar or a wind or hydro only. So good point is, for India, we have done enough for solar. So India can never be blamed that we are using coal for our electric vehicles. We can note it down for your question specifically, that India has made enough solar, and I think by 27 there was some kind of energy, kind of some calculations and all, that India has done enough for new sources, renewable sources and all. So we are doing all electric vehicles, whatever we are charging. Maybe it is coming through our coal power plant, but overall from India point of view, that it is all solar or hydro or wind only. So that's a very good point for India. Thank you.
Thank you. One more thing I just want to highlight and want to see your comments. This is from the, as Marcus said, any electric vehicle or any ICE vehicles, the connectivity, the telemetry data, those things, any of the application software can take care. The hardware point of view, this thing. So the middle point is that embedded stuff. That's the power electronics software, let's say algorithms, the data loops or the interrupts. Those things has to be written. So neither the plain software people are unable to touch the hardware, nor the hardware designers are unable to do the particular, those particular harmonics, repeaters, such kind of things. So I personally felt, I come across this kind of situation, many companies. So any take on this?
Let me add to this. So if you look at the traditional V development cycle, the V cycle, right? So it is going to change when we talk about especially the software-defined vehicle. So there is a concept called the DevSecOps. Okay, so it will be an infinite loop. So you have to do a continuous integration, continuous development, and continuous testing. So even when the vehicle is there on the road, you still can update that vehicle. And I'm not talking about just the data update. I'm talking about the feature update. So even though my vehicle might not be having a feature today, but I can update that remotely through OTA. Okay, and these function updates will happen in 3 different domains, I would say. So what we call it as AutoSAR or adaptive AutoSAR, and then the QM side of it. So the safety related topics or features will remain intact on the embedded controller, which will run, for example, ABS or all those things. We are not going to touch that even in the software defined vehicle. The things which will come into play is, for example, if I want to roll out a adaptive cruise control or a lane detection warning, or any, maybe even the additional torque demand, all those things can be handled. And then the QM side of it, which is the telematics or the connectivity. These things will be rolled out even, every day that you will have a new release of the vehicle, of the software on the vehicle, which you can get it just like a mobile, right? So that's why we will call maybe the car to like a mobility device, not a, car. So it will become a mobility device.
Yeah,
I was, by the way, very happy to see with the presenter from Mahindra that they have in their telematics even a remote horn.
Okay. So one more question from, say, some European countries like Norway. Say have already, say, few years back, they're all having 100% IC engines. And now have become 100% EV. So there should be some data whether their environment is better because of change to EV, or their driving experience is better, or overall people feel good that changing from IC to EV is good.
So I think Norway is a very small country population-wise. I think even Indranaga has more inhabitants than Norway. So very difficult to see an impact on the environment as such. We will see an impact on the personal usage, and there's a bit of a mixed bag, I have to say, because Norway is a cold country and they struggle with the range, because when it gets colder, the range fluctuation. It's not always the total range. If you say you have 300 kilometers range, that's maybe good enough for me. But the problem is, if today I have 300 kilometers, tomorrow I have only 200 kilometers because it's so cold. That's a big problem. And that's why we see in trucks, there are some movements to have trucks running on hydrogen now. They think that's better for them because they get a better mileage out of that than with pure EVs in Norway. That's one issue. And of course, the other thing is, and I think in Europe, even more than the electrification, it's again the mobility concept. What people, especially in big cities, are trying to do is to get the cars out of the cities or hide them again. That's a big issue, and that's again where a lot of EV and autonomous driving can help you, that you have feeder cars feeding you in the remote area, and then inside you use public transport. That is also all connected, that you get everything in one app from your car, what you monitor until your last mile connectivity. That's the main focus in cities in Europe right now. As I said, this goes hand in hand with electrification, but the environmental impact, I don't think we will, even in India, we will not see much environmental impact so dramatically, because there are so many other polluters here, starting with our coal plants, that I doubt that it will be such a big impact.
Thank you.
So EVs, I didn't get data, we are still taking, but chargers, DC fast chargers across US, customers are not happy, extremely unhappy. So say even for a country like US, if say your fuel, so you are replacing diesel and petrol, and your citizens are not happy, this is something somebody has to address. I think Biden government has a lot of emphasis has been done for DC fast chargers and all, but there's a big issue in US.
It's a big issue everywhere. The whole system is also because you need, for every charger, you need a different app and a different card, and nothing is harmonized. By the way, that's a good opportunity for India to make the over or underlying software for that, to harmonize it ultimately. But that's a big issue. Either the charge is not working or my card is not working. Whereas if you have an ICE engine, I go to any petrol bunk, I swipe my credit card and it's full.
So it's not the same problem in India. It is
so
everywhere.
actually, globally, the technology is there, what I call as the PNC, pay and charge. This should be like Tesla, But there are a lot of issues, local issues and all. So in PNC, what happens that there is a very secure system for making payment of all the chargers. And there are companies like Hubsect and all are in Germany. They have made PNC based, and I don't know what is the reason it is not going around. So globally, it should become for all the chargers across the world, something like pay and charge, that automatically it should be connected to all fintech companies. This is happening in India also. So when all our fintech companies can connect with everything for every bank and all, what is the big technology issue here, that why it cannot become like PNC in India? So I think that can be a thing for government issue. If they can become like PNC, India will become a heaven for this.
Because that is also something which is not super expensive in investment, no? So that's not that we say, we need more chargers or something. If just the chargers who are already there are easier to operate, which is not, as I said, it's not a huge investment, no? Because there's so many other huge investments we still have to do to make EV successful. So that's the easiest.
Thank you, Marcus. I think probably we are going into the other diplomatic and commercial talk on that.
Yeah, I would want to
I
say
would like to stick to our things.
good bar discussion. We can talk later.
Yeah, I think we can talk. So anything you want to particularly add, Mr. Praveen? So I could see a lot of agony when
Agony in which?
frustration from you because of the manufacturing point of view. Any design challenges, anything you are facing, so that any other people can take it up?
Yeah, agony probably is a good word.
Okay.
I think it's just, we have, the software is like a brain and the physical stuff is your stuff. That nervous system, which is this embedded system and all that, is totally missing in India. So without that, we won't go too far. But it's an investment and time we need, that's all.
Thank you very much. I think I would like to take, if anybody from the audience, I think I saw Mr. Kishore, am I right? Yeah. You are throughout the day, Kishore ji. I think Kishore actually represent one of the electric forum in India. Somebody was asking any forums are there. That is one of the forum started in India. I think you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Shiv. I am representing the Federation of Electrical Vehicle Association, and also it's my fortune to be the attendee of the last event where you conducted the conference like this. And I heard all of you, Marcus, about various things like commonalities between electrical and non-electrical ICE. So I see like all these discussions of the think tank. For example, Marcus, maybe Germany may have your national standards body. So in India too, we have a BIS and we do contribute. For drones, for example, myself and Wing Commander Vinayak, we contribute to standards in the drone. For the transport equipment, there is a separate think tank inside BIS. So all your thoughts, including the security, cybersecurity aspects. For drone as well, we are developing that same standard. So both are moving vehicles, therefore the connected cars and things like that should have a cybersecurity component. So my humble recommendation is join BIS and contribute to standards.
So you don't have a question. You have a suggestion saying that we should adopt BAS standards for EVs.
Add value as well, because you can create new section and add new thoughts there wherever you find gaps exist.
I think,
for example, neuro and other things.
Any comment for that?
Please make it cheaper and faster.
Oh, okay. So any other questions from the audience? Still anybody left? I think I don't see any hand raising. Any other?
I just want to add,
Yeah,
there
please.
are already few PNCs in the ONDC ecosystem, Open Network Digital Commerce ecosystem.
Okay.
So the PNCs are already there in the Indian market, where you need not to install any third-party app. You can just directly go, get charged, and pay in whatever the app you have, say Paytm, PhonePe. You need to maintain the minimum balance, and you have to pay. And the amount will be automatically deducted when you go and sign in there.
I did not get your question. Anybody got the question, right?
Plug-in.
So your question is that automatically through some app and all, payment will be done. So what we are suggesting, see, your electric vehicle is very, very sophisticated. And for this PNC method, there is no app also needed, nothing. You just charge it, it pays. This is more advanced than what you are talking that. Okay, so if there is a possibility, it can be integrated with that method itself. So within your, whatever you are charging in the vehicle, there is a communication already established there. And it will connect it to your bank. And it, already this will be done and all. So this is more advanced than what you are proposing.
Thank you. Thank you one and all once again. A wonderful panel. I hope you enjoyed it. It's up to you, Lavanya. Thank you.